The webinar will cover the foundational overview of working with Insights for ArcGIS. It's demonstrating the drag and drop interface and how to perform interactive analysis of data wherever it comes from. It can be from simple Excel, a spreadsheet, going to ArcGIS services, enterprise database, geodatabase, or any kind of data that can be brought into ArcGIS systems. So topics for today's webinar. During the web session, we are going to talk about what Insight for ArcGIS is, what data content you can add to Insights, whether it's coming from online or it's coming from enterprise, some simple workflows to show how to work with the Insights, followed by how to share the work with Insights with quick demonstrations. And we'll hand over to you for queries after a wrap-up summary and resource informations. What is Insight for ArcGIS? See, data is important and answers are the key things that come out of data. Once you get the answers, you can share your stories, and these are the all elements which you will find in the Insights for ArcGIS. You will find it, bringing the solutions to the real world problems as likely as an extremely intelligent elder comic character, which we all know. It's an exploratory and an interactive analysis tool. It's not just an app. It's a new way to experience and discover the power of analytics. It's not only visual, but it's intuitive as well. It has several components. It has app, it's a server component, it has database, etc. Insights for ArcGIS is available as a part of ArcGIS Enterprise and online, and provides a new user experience of analytics that focuses on simpler ways to work with your data and you share the results. This includes visualizations, drag and drop analytics, and on the fly filtering and aggregations, making it interactive and fast and intuitive. If you see, we not only combine the visualization, but also analysis on the cards. If you see where I'm putting my mouse screen, the cards appears in these slides are not just visualization, but these are the representation of the results of any analytic operations which has been made on top of that. We can drag and drop the data, either it's a spatial data or it's tabular data in these cards, which are linked or geolinked to each other to make the impactful decision in collaboration. Here is a wireframe, or I will say architecture, to understand the Insights framework. To understand it better by our legacy users who have been working with the ArcMap for years, it's easy to understand it like a workbook in an Insights is like an MXD. It's an ArcMap document. And within a document, like we have data frames, so are the pages here. And like we have a table of contents, so is the data pane. And these cards are the different layers. So this is how easily you can understand it when you could try to compare it with the other products. So it will make it easy to understand it for you. Let me quickly show you an insight at a glance so that it will be easy to visualize for most of you who are new to this technology or this product. And it's a story to map the proud historical moment from the game, which is very close to heart of most of us. So India in the World Cup Cricket Championship. Let me quickly show it to you. See, this is India at World Cup Cricket. India had played 12 championship, start from 1975 to 2019. If you see, these are the hosting countries where it has been hosted, and there were certain co-hosted as well. In different years, these has been hosted by different countries, and many countries has hosted it multiple times as well. If we click on, say, the starting year 1975, where it has been hosted in England, and this is the country which has not only hosted in 1975, but in many other years as well. India had played against Many countries, around I think 17 countries are there. These are the locations from all across these countries with whom India has played. And since 1975 to 2019, these are the number of matches played by the Indian team, total coming around 1980, it's 85. And for every year, what is the Indian team that is also there. So we can click and we can check it. And it's giving more insights like how many matches have been won by India in different years when they participated on the championship. 12 times the trophy has been given, out of which India won it 2 times, whereas Australia 5 times, and rest of the countries are there. So if you click on India, we are getting the details like we won it in 2011 and 1983. 83 we played 8 matches, and 2011 9 matches, and this is going to be the team in 2011 and 1983. It has been hosted by England in 1983, where in 2011 it was hosted in India itself. These are the locations and these are the years when it has been played. Okay, going back to my presentation, I hope this might have given a simple glance to the people who might, working, will be having the first time, who will be seeing this kind of product. Thus now, I will go to the deeper insight insights for ArcGIS. It's a powerful analysis tool that made the things very simple. Insight deliver analytical capabilities to solve the things either by spatial analysis or statistical analysis, predictive analysis, exploratory analysis, and even the new generation link analysis and the graph analysis is there. If Insight doesn't have the specific out-of-box tool that you needed, you can use the Python and R integration to perform the specific operations or do other things like data cleanup or so. It's allow analysts to bring together their enterprise GR database along with the business enterprise database in the same place. And thus other analytic packages doesn't treat actually the spatial data elements for the analysis, but we do. And we have a major focus on that also. So we have these great analytic capabilities that and ability to directly connect both enterprise GIS and enterprise business data. The only missing component is people. So Insights empowers your entire organizations with self-service location analytics, in which the different professionals from their line of business can use it. A BI can use it from their perspective, a GIS analyst can use from their purpose, and maybe a decision maker can use the tabulated informations and other charts for making of the decisions. And Insight is available as a SaaS with ArcGIS Online. You can have it on your premises with your own infrastructure within ArcGIS Enterprise. And now locally on the Windows or Mac, Insights for the desktop is available for you. Coming to the next component, that is how you can add the data. I already mentioned about the workbook, pages, and the cards, the different ways to visualize the different types of data. So to bring the analysis, we need to process the data from different sources altogether. You can bring the data from all corners of the wherein you are putting or where you are storing your data in your organizations. You can browse it from the local database. You can have the ESRI Living Atlas from where you can take the data. You can have the portal and you can have the database, or even simpler CSV and Excel files can be drag and drop to get the data. And as I mentioned in my previous slide as well, you can use the Python and R integration to perform any specific operation as well. Next, I'm going to tell you how we built Insights so you can bring any data, whether it's a spatial or it's a non-spatial data. You can bring the data from multiple sources, including Excel sheets, your ArcGIS services, enterprise database, or like Oracle or someone which is going to help you, wherever you have kept the data, and transform that data into Insights. You can apply visualization to your data. You can see it on the maps, charts, tables on one same screen, one single screens. You can ask the questions to your data and get answers more easily than ever before. And you can leverage all that data and analysis across the whole ArcGIS platform. Next, I'm coming to a very important slide. To work with the insights, we bring in the data from the pages. We can bring the spatial layers, tables, or views as a separate data set. We also need to understand how we interrogate data in insights. This is very crucial and fundamental to understand that we directly working with the field attributes of the data set or a layer or a table. And thus it's slightly different from the GIS where we works with the layer, whereas here we are working directly against the attributes of the layers of the or any table. So it's slightly switch around the analytics part. People can work on the spatial data and at the same time they are not found any blockage to work with the tabular data. We interrogate the data to find out what type of data we have. That becomes more important for us. Like uh, a data with a shape field is a geodimensional data for me, and date field is a temporal data. Categories and numbers to compare and classify and quantify. So this slide, it's showing quick key concept of working with insights, which we have discussed in the previous slides. You see, if it's a shape, we can take it in a location. If it's a numeric data, we can use it for the numerical analysis part. If there is something which is related to proportions or ratios, that can be taken. And if we have a temporal data with a date and type, it can be kept on the date type components. You can enable the locations with the multiple fields. The fields can be, if we have got the latitudinal or longitudinal values in my table, then maybe just I can take it as a coordinates. If the table or the data I have with me is a geocoded address with me, perhaps address is going to be the option from where I can take it the data. And if I have the layers with geography, point line and polygons, then maybe the geography is a good option from where I can take up the databases. Multiple spatial fields can also be used. Say, for example, I have a table with the coordinates and as well as it contains certain zip codes. So advantage with insights that I can use both these informations to make out the information out of that. I can use the coordinates to create a map in my card. At the same time, I can use the zip code to create another map on the basis of the zip codes for me. We have slightly different terminology how we join and relate the data, but approach is same as we do in GIS. So we create the relationship using the spatial joins based on any specific fields. It can be on the basis of certain IDs like we do as a standard practice. And we have different types of join over here. Like most of the BI tools, we have multiple options which we can choose as per our requirements. So from adding this data, now I'm moving to working with insights. We can go for the powerful analysis to find the questions to be asked and get answer to those using the exploratory analysis. We can relate and overlay the data sets using the spatial and or the other tools which are available with us for this kind of analysis, and quantify and describe that can be addressed through the statistical tools which are available in the insights for ArcGIS. In terms of analysis, we have different ways of doing analysis inside the insights. We have very easy interactive drag and drop methods to get it performed. If I go next, to every geocard, you will find there is an action button. It's not only a way to analysis, but action button allows you to go with the different workflows to perform analysis, complex or simple, which made the work very easy for us. Start with the questions. We also have tools to find answers if you don't know which tool is needed to be used for this kind of analysis. Maybe something to classify your data for distribution. So maybe we can click on the distributions. It's going to give me all the tools which are available to answer my queries related to distributions. And this is how we can do it. A series of spatial analysis tools, which we will be discussing during some presentations or demonstrations of this product to you. Same way, a series of statistical analysis tool that is again going to be covered in my demonstrations. The link maps or link analysis tools actually shows the movement of the people, goods, transport, or any activity which has been carried out, where is the origin, which is the destinations, and within the due course of time, how the things has been changed and linked to one another. This is how we can do it from the link analysis tool. We have all about the analytic operations in different cards. These are the different scientific visualization options which can be changed with a single click of mouse, which are available within the insights for ArcGIS. It is selecting a right tool or an element for visualization is very important. Is the data qualitative, quantitative, or temporal? Or to determine the purpose of the visualization, what question needed to be answered, what message needed to be communicated. So we have to take the tool accordingly with the number of options which are available within the sites. I will take you quickly through some of the tools so that you will have a fair idea how to use these different kind of options for your right queries to be answered by the tools for you. Say, for example, if I go with the bar graphs, we are using it for the years. So bar graphs use either in a horizontal or in a vertical bars to show the comparison among the categories. They make it easy to identify uh, in the broad differences between the group at a glance. They have introduced the bubble charts. Bubble charts represent the numerical values by categories, and each bubble stands for a unique category, and the size of the bubble symbolizes the magnitude of the numerical variable for you. Next, let's take the heat chart. So say, for example, a crime analyst is trying to study the theft happened in his area. So which kind of crime are happening most often and when? If you want to go for such kind of analysis, uh, heat chart are going to give you the total frequency in a matrix. The values in each cell of the rectangular grid are symbolized into the classes, and thus helping you in the visualization, the distribution from high to low values, the trends, and much more, so that it can help the user. Tree maps. Say this maps the you very easy to having the different sizes of the categories compared as a whole. So larger the size of the tree for you, that means more the magnitude of the numerical values there. Chord diagram is it's an another way to answer your queries with respect to the time. Say, for example, if there is an insurance company and the owner actually wants to know which type of policies his company is offering, and they are getting which kind of insurance mostly, and with due which time period they have got it. So such kind of queries can be better answered using the chord diagrams that actually best reveal the interrelationship between the categories, how the several categories are related to others with respect to different time sets for you. Same way, there is an option for donut charts, which basically gives you as a whole which part of the donut or the spring is going to covered up which kind of the values. Spider lines, it's another way of representations wherein these lines show the path from the origin to destinations and illustrating the connection between the different places. To find out the relationships, chloroplath is a good way to represent the qualitative values to be mapped by area and enabling the viewer to see the values from high to low. Scatter plotter, a mathematical way of getting the things represented that enables viewer to look at the relationship between the two values with both axes. So the level of correlations be quantified and make it easy to identify the causes. Say, for example, there is a public engineering department and they are, getting the main leakage problem logs for that. Employees has been suspected like these number of leaks are directly affected by the total length of the pipe. So if there is actually a positive linear relationship between the total length of the pipe and the number of service requests which are being called off or logged over there. So such kind of problems, if it's showing a positive relationship, that means yes, the pipe length is actually likely significant factor for all the leakages. So we can have answer for such kind of queries using this kind of tools. So proportional symbols, which already you are using it for many analysis. We have the density tools to make out the calculations with respect to the concentrations of the events or any values which has been happened to actually visualize the distributions. Data clock, which actually create a circular chart of temporal data, are commonly used to see the number of events that happen in a period of time. Say, for example, a police officer is looking to get an idea when the driver are jumping the red lights in his patrol area. So if you take a 24-hour clock time, he can better to understand from this kind of charts for you. Box plotter, it's a outlier identifier tool so that you can use it for finding out the values which are acting as or which are coming as outliers. Thus, all these data or these tools which are being used, they can be put in different cards and can put it in a cross-filtered manner. They can be dueling to one another so that by clicking in one, we can have the entire story in a single page to get answers to the different queries which we are having. Tabular analysis, there are two types of tabular analysis which are possible within the Insights for ArcGIS. One is the data table, wherein you are able to create your own new fields using the existing fields and getting it multiplied or put certain expressions on top of that. And there is another way of getting the data, tabular data in form is using the tabular analysis, wherein you can have all the data which you have created, the fields there in your database that can be put it into a summary table form. And if required, we can perform operations on top of that. Next, I would like to move to the sharing of the data. So if you have performed all the analysis, it's time to share the results of those analysis. There is a very simple way to share the results depending on what and whom you want to share it. We essentially built a model or a workflow to share the data. The sharing of the resultant layers, like if you have created a buffer layer of some magnitude, like 1 kilometer, 2 meter, that can be directly saved as a layer. And the insight pages can also be embedded within the story maps. Being an Esri user, I believe you know the story maps. So these insights pages can put inside your story maps to enrich the content and enrich the analysis you are trying to show it to your stakeholders. So with this, I would like to move to the demonstration part, working with the insights. So I found there are many users from coming from the irrigation or agriculture side. So I have kept a demonstrations with respect to just integrating some spatial and non-spatial data with respect to canals. And let's see how we can perform it with using the insights for ArcGIS. So this is the interface of Insights for ArcGIS for you, wherein it gives an option to add data to this page. These are the different pages which is available to you. You can select the data to create maps for you. You have the options to create the different kind of charts, tables for you. This is the options with which you can create the relationship between your different layers. Any moment of time, you can save your workbook. You have options to insert photographs, videos, or text and media to your data. And you can have certain predefined filters if you want to get it added to your analysis that can be done. It gives you an option to add the base maps from the gallery like we do in our different other products. And this is an option wherein you can have an analysis view, which will generate the entire model for your analysis part, the workflow which you have, and for the entire setting of the workbook that can be performed from here. So I will start with an analysis wherein I'm trying to have the data from my enterprise portal, as well as I will try to get it enriched with some very simple Excel or a CSV file. So how we can do it? We need to just click on this add button, wherein it gives me to add the data from different corners, whether from my Living Atlas, getting uploaded a file from his browser, or from any part where I'm keeping it. We can make a connection to my demo portal, SharePoint, OneDrive, and many more. So I'm taking it with from my enterprise portal. I have kept the data with for some canals with the name of insights. So I can just check it. It is going to take me all of the layers which are there within that, and I simply need to click it. So if I have any geometry or geographical component within that, automatically that's going to be created and located, getting mapped in my card. And if not, then I will show you what are the ways to getting the content joinable for you. The second thing which I would like to add is suppose I have an CSV data with respect to these canals which are being shown in the map, in the card. So this is a business data which is showing me an ID, which is the same as in my layers. And it's showing me the status of my canal, whether it's an existing canal, proposed canal, under constructions or so. What is the type of canal it is? It's a major canal, minor canal. What is the length, total fund which has been released till now? What is the fund actually allocated? And which year this has been completed? So I just try to make this kind of data for you. And now I would like to add this Excel sheets. So what I can do, I can just quickly go to my upload file, and I know I have kept it in a folder over here. And from here, I can just drag and drop it over here. The file edit, and now it's time to get it added to my workbook as well. Now you can see this is the Excel sheet that has been added. All the fields which were there has been added as an attribute over here. Along with that, there is the data, which is basically an spatial data, which I have taken from my enterprise, is also there. And now I can easily create a relationship between my Excel file and the data which I have taken from here. Steps are very simple. And I have taken these two layers, which I actually want to create a relationship. And this is the edit option, which is giving me on the basis of which attributes actually I would like to create a relationship. So perhaps I can give those common IDs on the basis of which I can create a relationship for it. So I have already created a relationship. So this way, Insights gives an option to join the multiple ways, the data, which is coming from different parts, whether it can be a spatial data, it can be a temporary or a tabulated data, and so on. Now, my problem statement goes, I want to see the year-wise canal progress which has happened. So let's take the component year, drag and go to the chart, and I want to get it analyzed on the basis of a tree map. This tree map showing me which is the magnitude or the number of projects, canal projects, which has been carried out in these years. So these are the canals which you can see, which has been filtered out in my map, has been completed in year 2016, wherein if I click on 2010, the numbers are less. So you can see in the map also, this is how the different cards are interlinked to one another or geolinked to one another. Next, I'm very much interested in finding out the project-wise categories. So my categories goes like, I drag and drop, and this time I'm going to go for a bubble chart. So this is going to give me a fair idea, like how many minor projects are there. There are 157 null network minor projects, wherein the major projects are 31 for me. If I click on a specific bubble, I can see that these are the canals which has been completed in 2015, 16, and 5. There is no major project which has been completed in year 2010 for me. Next, I'm interested to see how it is distributed. I want to see the project generated versus the status mapping. That means whether my existing, proposed, and under construction project versus whether these are my major or the minor projects. So let me take in help of my action button over here, which is going to give me the options, how it is distributed. So maybe I can just go for creating a heat chart. This time, my heat chart will be based on the status and versus the type of the project it is, and I can run it. The moment it runs, it gives me a heat chart, which is going to give me answers for if I am interested in seeing which are the major projects which are still under construction. Let's click on that. We can easily see these are the projects which are major projects but are still under construction mode. If same way, if I go to check my minor proposed projects, perhaps I can see it that these are the projects which are proposed but comes under the minor categories, and so on. Next, I would like to show you the year-wise the canal projects which has been done. So an example from a chord diagrams. So let's suppose take the year as well as the categories and use these two to create a relationship card for you, which is nothing but actually chord diagrams. Fair enough. So this game going to give me, if I am interested in seeing which are the project which has been claimed in 2005. So there are majorly minor projects and there are few major projects which has been done in year 2005. Same way we can check it out for 2015. We can check it for 2016. So my analysis and doesn't stop over here. We can go for creation of a financial report as well, because I have some information which is related to my funds. So this is total fund released, and this is actually the total fund which has been allocated to me. So let's create a table on the basis of these two. So this is going to give me the complete idea of the total fund which has been released and the total fund which has been actually allocated. If I click or filter it, maybe we will find that the values of the funds and that will also get changed with respect to that. And now we are very much interested to see what is the balance percent amount that is needed to be released by the agencies. So maybe I can take again help of this action button. This time I'm going to find it out. What is the change? I mean, what is that which is still balanced with me? So I can take an option to calculate the percentage. So the number of fields this time will be the fund release or the total fund, and let it give an field name percentage balance. Okay, so run it. It's going to create a table for me, which will give me the project wise what is the fund still needed to be released, what is the percentage of that fund, to be very specific. Yeah, it has added a new field, and if you click any one of those, that project is going to be highlighted in my map, and you can see there is a 14.43% of the amount still needed to be released, that is balanced with the authorities. So this is how we can use the insight methods to get answer to the different queries which we are having. Next, I will want to move to the another category. So we have seen the example how we can add the data from enterprise and I can add the data from Excel sheets. This time, I would like to give you an example how we can use the data if that has been already shared by someone to me in the form of a workbook, and how I can enrich that data from an ESRI living Atlas site. So this is an example which I will be taking from the current pandemic which is going on COVID-19. And so what we can do, this is my Insight interface, and I can go to the workbook wherein it gives me an option to import a specific workbook for me. So there is in a workbook with an extension WBK is there. I can select it and get it open for me to take the data directly into my page of the workbook or so. So I have already added this one. This is the workbook page. And next, what I'm supposed to do, I would actually like to enrich this data from my Living Atlas. So this time we have seen the demo portal option, we have seen the upload file, but this time definitely I would like to go to the Living Atlas site, which is an ocean of data is there, and you can use the data services from there. So I'm taking an example of some COVID-19 data from there. Yeah, there is some data which is available. I would like to take this data, which is from the Johns Hopkins University, who have actually created an iconic dashboard. Perhaps most of you might be knowing that one. So I would like to take that data. So once I click, you can see it has to be showing me the number of death cases, country-wise cases, country names, show time, and everything over here. So I can easily add it to my screen. So once it's added, you can see it. These are the different attributes of that particular service has been added over here, like the cases, the year, the deaths, and so on. So now my analysis, I want to actually see with visualize the cases which has been happened to get visualized over the countries. So I have the countries option with me, or I have the cases options with me. So what I can do, I can just take these cases and drag it over the map options so that it will give me a visualizations, the number of cases that has happened on the different countries. So right now it's showing me with the proportional bubble options, but if I want to have it changed in the form of the polygons to be filled with different colors, maybe I can get it symbolized on the basis of counts and amounts for different countries as a polygon. Now you can easily make it out. The darker is the color, the more are the cases which has been received by this country. So this is a simple way of getting the things visualized, but I will make it slightly complex. Suppose I'm interested in finding out, I am very much interested to see the cases per 10,000 population. So how we can perform it, you go to the specific tables, go to the table options, where it will give you an option to add a new field. So I want to add a field with a name of, say, cases per 10,000. Right, and here what we can do, you can select the number of cases, get it divided by the population, and get it multiplied by, say, 10,000. So definitely once you will run it, it's going to create a new field for you, which is basically give you an option to have the number of cases you received with 10,000. So I have run it, showing me that this is a new field which has been added over here, and we can make it as a rate ratio or so. I can change it from here. Now, if I want to make a map with respect to the cases per 10,000 population has been received, drag and drop and see it. We can compare it the different countries for that. So now, although it's showing the many cases for India, so it's very dark, but when it compare it with per 10,000, then it's less on that. We can also add the number of cases, KPIs, drag and drop. If you go to the chart, there is an option to add the KPIs, which gives you actually the values, which are the number of cases that has been received. If it's same way, if you want to get it done for the number of deceased people. So that also you can easily take it out and make it with the help of the KPIs for you. So this is how, if you want to go with a country-wise, the number of cases happening with respect to the time series, then probably I can take the options of the cases as well as the date time period, drag and drop and make a time series for you. So this has generated a trend graph for me for the due course of time, how many cases has been received as for different dates for me. So ArcGIS Insights timelines are automatically created from the date and time data which we have. And additionally, the date time components are automatically calculated and added on the data to import. And if you want to go to certain more analysis, you can go for a logarithmic analysis. That logarithmic scale as shown in over here can make a comparison easier if it is relationship between uh, the number of cases and the with respect to the time period which has been there for you. Next, I will move to an analysis wherein you can see the crime links. So this can be easily can be considered true for how the way a community spread has happened. A person, infected person, has gone to a work in office and met with few other peoples. They got infected, and further this link has been established. So this is one use case wherein you can take it with the perspective of this COVID-19, but it's equally goes true for any other crime analysis. Say, for example, if you want to have access to a peddler's racket, how the way the one peddler is going to meet with another one, and a chain or a link is getting established to solve out such kind of crime problems. This analysis is really very helpful in that case as well. And once we are done with the different kind of analysis which we are having, you can click and go to the analysis mode, which is going to create the entire model for the workflow which we have used. And this can be saved and exported to the different users, your different offices, so that they can use it for their kind of business. Another example, because we have seen how we can take the data from Excel sheets, from the enterprise database, from Living Atlas, from the services. So sometimes we receive the data from some different systems. So I'm taking an example, people who are into the water hydrology field. Suppose you are getting the monitoring station data from certain another systems, and that data is coming to your ArcGIS system, and you want to have certain insights to get with that database. I'm taking an example from one of the waterside area where we have actually the four base locations where these different monitoring stations has been established, and these are basically showing me the precipitation versus the river flow values for the different temporal data. It's from I think 2006 to 2020 data is with me. And there are four major locations and the area they have divided. So are the four data clock diagrams for me for the different time intervals. And if you see this heat chart or the binning diagram, you can easily make it out with the color itself, like these are the durations when the flow of the average flow of the water was in a higher side. Suppose if I click over here in the April 2013, it's going to change for all the different four zones for me, and we can check it out that this is the precipitation value for that time period, and this is the flow which has happened, and we can see those in the graph also, in the map as well for me. So this is how, and there are many other analysis which we can perform directly using the tools or the charts which are available in the insights for ArcGIS. So with this, I would like go back to my presentations to sum up and share some resources for you. Perfect. So Insight for ArcGIS is not just a traditional app, but it's a sandbox, or you can say a workbench, which provides you the drag and drop visualization and to explore the data, to analyze and visualize in different ways by creating the cards and change it any point of time. You can set your workflows as well, like we have seen in the various example which I tried to demonstrate you. We can also connect to multiple data sources, and it doesn't matter where your data comes from, whether it's spatial data or it's a tabular data. And we can have multiple different sources from where we can take the data. Like Living Atlas is one of the example from where you can take the data and get your data enriched. Uh, you can share your data and communicate the results, share the models, pages, story maps, and you can record and return your workflows in the form of these models for you. So this Insight is all about analysis. Sometimes people get confused it with a simple dashboard or a report, but no, it's not like that. Insights is designed to go beyond dashboards and reports, and it enable analysis to complete it at one place in the form of different geocards with you. Resources. So I will refer you to go to the product webpage. The team has done a great job to make you informed about the product. There are certain white papers you will find. There are several use cases are there, which will enable you to go understand this product better. There is a chart for opting the visualization tools within the Insights for ArcGIS. So you can refer it. I have given this URL over there. You can refer it for taking out the specific tool to get answer to your queries. These are certain training sites as well as the success stories, which will be helpful to make you understand about the utility of the product for your kind of job. And before I hand over it to you for the queries, I would like to request you to go for certain upcoming events, get yourself registered for that. One is on the 22nd of July. That's on a kickstart your geospatial journey with Utility Network Foundation. So kindly register for that. And obviously, stay tuned with us for our user conference, which happens every year, which is a mega event. So this year, it's going to be on July 28 and 29, which is a mega event for us, for our users. So stay tuned with us for that. Kindly register yourself to make your presence over there. So with this, I hand over it to the panelists for further queries or any questions which are needed to be responded from my side.